Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Joe Emilio Show. I'm your host, Joe Emilio, and on tonight's episode, I'm going to discuss with you something that Fikile has just announced. We're also going to talk about, is there possibly going to be a price hike with petrol? And later on tonight at 8 p.m., ladies and gentlemen, my guest tonight, Ian Cameron from Action Society SA. All that and a lot more. Stay tuned. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How are you guys doing? I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. My name is Joe Emilio. We're here on a Monday evening, 7th of March, 2022. The war still rages on in Ukraine and Russia. And yeah, there's a lot of other things going on, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason why I bring that up is because, well, one of the first things I'm going to talk about is what this effect this war is having on South Africans. You might be wondering, what do I mean? What am I talking about? And I'm going to get into that later on tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to remind everyone that tonight I have a guest, Ian Cameron from Action Society SA. Very much looking forward to having a chat with him. He knows a lot about the law enforcement industry, if I can say that, in South Africa. And we're going to be talking about the decay of SAPS. So tune into that at 8 p.m., ladies and gentlemen. If you want to tune back later at 8 p.m., you're more than welcome to. Or you can hang out with me for the next hour as we talk about some random stuff. Got two headlines and a video I want to show you guys in just a moment. I'm just going to wait and see who starts joining in. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, you can chat to me. I am apparently streaming. I should be streaming on Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So, hello, viewers. For those of you who are watching on the various platforms, welcome. This is my show. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's a lot of other content that goes on there. Actually, most of my social media is different content that goes on each. So, yeah. If you're watching on Facebook, like the page. If you're watching on Twitter, follow me. If you're watching on Twitch, follow me. Twitch has got a very small following, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that's still growing. So it'd be great if you guys could support that. But yeah, YouTube is the place to be, though. That's the most important one. So you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be greatly appreciated. All right, so let's get right into the topics at hand. I mentioned earlier, the war that is raging on in Ukraine and Russia is not doing South Africa any favors. Economically. And the reason why I say this, and look who's here, Robert King is in the house, ladies and gentlemen, saying hi from YouTube. Hello, Robert. Thank you for tuning in. So, yeah, big kind of news. But before I get to that, this is just quick. This is just going to be quick. Like, I saw this headline and I was like, oh, let me tell people in case people don't know. No more extensions. The driving license deadline is here. Okay. So as you guys know, driver's license has been extended a few times over the past few years because of COVID. Well, no more extensions. There's a deadline now. There's a backlog of more than 500,000 licenses. But apparently, these licensing centers have enough capacity to address the shortfall. And the slots are available to book for renewals. I doubt that very much. But we'll see what happens. There's issues in Gauteng. When is there not issues in Gauteng? Okay. I actually need to get that as a sound effect. I'll work on that. But yeah, I think that was the most important thing. So, in case you're wondering how long or when the extension is officially the last day or whatever, the minister had previously extended the expired licenses to 31 March 2022 due to the delays caused by COVID-19 pandemic, which meant motorists could not visit licensing centers. This grace period covered all documents which expired in the period between 26 2020 to 31 2021. And now When's the... So... Here we go. Transport Minister has warned that his department will not extend the grace period for motoring licenses in South Africa beyond 31 March. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's your deadline. 31 March. It's a bit ridiculous, if you ask me. Like, I don't know, when was this done? He did this like now, I think. Yeah, today. He did 7th of March, ladies and gentlemen. 7th of March. He announced this. Like, what the hell? Some motorists are going to freak out now. For those of you who are still trying to get that sorted, do it now. Do it quick. Do it fast. So, Jesse saying, evening everyone. Hello, Jesse. Thank you for tuning in. No, he's not. He was in Ukraine. There's been some funny memes about that, which I think is hilarious. Hopefully, I'll be doing a social media circus episode this weekend. So tune into that. You will see a lot of those memes in that episode. All right. So, and if you don't know what social media circus is, go to my YouTube channel. You'll see there. I need to get mine. See, well, now you got to do it, man. You got to do 31 March deadline. It's weird to me that he does it like, you know, in the month of... Why couldn't he do it like at the end of April, you know? Like just like, okay, guys, no more extensions. You have until the end of April. Like, would that have been such a big deal? Would that have been too much to ask? Yes, what a douche. Anyway, this guy's insane. All right, cool. So to the biggest news, I think, that came out today. South Africa's petrol price could hit 40 Rand per liter. This came out yesterday, actually. Experts predicting that 40 Rand per liter. That's worst case scenario. Let's just put that out there. In a worst case scenario, South Africa could expect liquid fuel prices to increase to about 40 Rand per liter. And I have a feeling, all right, it's going to get bad. Like, I'm sure you guys have noticed, like, there's always been articles that are really bad, you know? Like, let's take the lockdown, for example, right? Before Cyril was going to announce anything, like earlier on in the lockdown, after he eased it to like level 4 or level 3, there was always murmurs in the media, like, oh, we might go back to level 5, we might go back to level 5, we might go back to level 5. And then it was always like level 3. It wasn't like, it was always like, we were on level 2 rather. And then there'd be murmurs of him saying, oh, we might go back to level 5, but then it was like level 3 or a mix of the two. A mix of like level 3 and 4. So it was never like level 5 again, but they would always like make you anticipate the worst, right? The worst case scenario. And I feel that's what they're doing here. The media is making us anticipate 40 Rand per liter, so that when it's like 30 Rand, we're like, well, at least it's not 40 Rand, guys. At least it's not 40 Rand. Like, they said it might hit 40 Rand. It hasn't hit 40 Rand. It's hit 30 Rand. It's better than 40 Rand. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel the media plays this, you know? This is the scariest part, though. As Eskom energy production depends much on imported diesel, electricity prices could increase up to 40%. Again, 40%. There's a lot of 40s in this article. I like the number 40. It's nearly half. I think that's why they like it. But 40% electricity price hike, ladies and gentlemen. 40%. Ha! Wow. And you know what? They'll probably hike it up to 20, which is what they were fighting for, by the way. The Eskom recently wanted to do that. So they'll hike it up to 20, so that way when it gets to 20, we're like, well, at least it's not 40, you know? This stuff, man. It's absolutely incredible, man. And everything's going to go up now. Everything's going to go up. You know, as soon as petrol goes up, everything else goes up. I mean, like, here's the official. We already pay just over 21 Rand per liter of petrol. I mean, damn, man. Don't you just want to buy a horse now? You just want to buy like a gas stove, candles, live like the Amish. I think it's like where we're going. Just study the Amish for a year, and then by the end of the year, just live like them. Live off the land. Uh, buy a few horses, use them. Have a carriage. Just books. Get lots of books. You're not gonna see me streaming because I can't afford the electricity. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing. It's actually quite serious. It's actually quite serious and sad, because South Africa is going to hell in a hen basket. Hen basket. To hell in a hen basket. I can't say it today. That's okay. Yeah, 40 Rand, buddy. Holy 40 Rand. Yep. Acid Zill saying, "Hey Joe." Hello, Acid Zill. This is another crisis caused largely by the ANC. We all know that. South Africa is now producing less than 30% of the petroleum we did in 2005. Wow. That's a problem. In on the Cape Flats, in the Cape Flats, we still pay 20 Rand, 0.88 per liter, lol. Well, then I'm moving to the Cape Flats. How come you guys get like 1 Rand, a whole Rand cheaper? Maybe we should just do that. All of us should just move to the Cape Flats. It's only like 1 Rand difference though. I don't know. But yeah, 21 Rand. Not even 1 Rand difference, like 80 cents. I don't know. Yeah, this is just, it is what it is, right? It is what it is. And this image is apt. This is like money being put right down. I mean, I feel bad for some motorists, right? Because some motorists here, it is written here somewhere, pay upwards of 1,000. Here it is. So motorists who live inland will pay 1,281 Rand to fill up an 80-liter tank with 93 unleaded. It's 87 Rand more than in February. But 1,200 Rand to fill up your tank. Oh my word. I don't have a 60-liter tank. I have like a 35-liter tank. So I'm half that, if like just over. It's like which makes sense because last time, guys. Okay, I have. Look, I don't care what some of you say about cars. Okay, I know there's some car enthusiasts that watch the show. Okay, leave my car alone. I love my car. It's like my baby. It's like my thing. I worked hard for it. Okay. It's a Hyundai i10 Grand. Okay, not the small one, the big one. Okay. I love that car. Like, I love it. Like, I cannot explain how much I love that car. Okay, I'm not like a crazy car buff where I'm like, ooh, don't touch it and like I gotta make it shine every day. No, I'm just saying I love my car. Okay. Now, that car, when I first bought it, which was in 2019, it was about 400 Rand to fill up that car. Not even, like, just under. Okay. Now, it's almost 800 Rand to fill up that car. It has nearly doubled since I got it in 3 years. No, 4 years. 3 years. 3 years. 3 years. It has nearly doubled. And I have like a small car, man. It's an economical car. It's a small car, right? But let me tell you something. If petrol gets to 40 Rand, I'm not driving that thing. I'm not. People, we live in a world where Skype and Zoom exist. I'm having all my meetups. I'm going back as if I'm in lockdown, hard lockdown, where I'm not seeing anyone. I'm going to be like, it's too expensive. You going to pay for my petrol? You're not going to pay for my petrol. I can't see you. It's just like that. Or I'll buy a horse, and then it'll take me a few hours to get to your place, but it's a lot more economical, I think. Okay, maybe. I don't know. It's like you got to have like a horse pen or a barn. Then you have to have a horse. You have to feed the horse. Have to take care of the horse. Okay, might be a little bit more expensive than a car, but I think in the long run it will be cheaper. I'm gonna get a kettle that goes on the burner, right? I'm gonna get a gas stove and try and get a gas stove. I don't know if I can get it. I have one of those camp ones, those single camp ones. I just use that from now on. It's a bit of a, like, it's hard to cook because it's only one, so it takes a while to cook stuff, but it'll suffice. And yeah, if electricity goes up by 40%, oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna stream anymore. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything with regards to electricity anymore. Like, I don't even know if I'm gonna watch Netflix, for crying out loud. Well, exactly. That's the problem. Do I watch UFC? No. I think it's barbaric. No, I'm kidding. I've watched it a few times. I watched it when okay, I'll be honest. I watched it a few times when Brock Lesnar was in and when CM Punk was in, and he got his ass beat twice. I think it is a bit rough. It's not really. I'll watch the big fights, but not really my thing. Hello Tracy, how are you doing? I just bought a 150cc motorbike at Suzuki South, and in 1 week I had to go take it for its first service, as I did more than 1,500. Yeah, you see, I would tell people to get a bike because it is, I guess, cheaper than a car, but they're a lot more dangerous, dude. Like that, I've had an accident on a scooter. I broke my leg in 3 different areas. Maybe one day I'll show you guys the pictures. But yeah, dude, I'm not a fan of bikes. Like, sorry if there's any bike enthusiasts out there. I know that Acid Zill's talking about it like a scooter or whatever, but I'm just saying, I'm not a fan of bikes. I wouldn't recommend anyone to go buy them, even with the petrol hike. It's like, pay 40 rand a liter or die. Like, it's not worth it, man. It's just not worth it. Install a biofuel computer in your car. Biofuel? Does that mean like you can crap in your car and it will work? What do you mean by biofuel? No, it is a bike. Okay, well, either way, it's still not safe. Dude, like, okay, here's the thing, right? Bikes in summer are cool. Bikes in winter, dangerous. Absolutely dangerous, man. And I got nothing against bikers. I respect them. I think they're really cool. Really. But for me personally, I'm just not... I can't, in goodwill, recommend people to buy a bike. Sorry, but I've got a bad experience, like I said, and rather just walk or buy a horse. Buy a horse before you buy a bike. Horses, like, they're cute, or a pony. Shale Govender, sorry. Hello, how are you? How has your day been? I've been good, man. I'm good. Tired. I went to gym today. Again, day 40. Yeah. Nothing's happening yet. But I went to gym today. I'm hopefully going to go tomorrow or Wednesday. Probably go Wednesday. And then one day was all right. Busy. Quite busy. It was good. It was good. How was your day, Shale? I think Jesse's disappointed I don't watch UFC. I haven't seen him comment again. Alrighty, so one thing that I thought I would share with you guys is I'm very excited because I wasn't going to tell you. I wanted to keep it as a surprise, but my excitement is just too much. I finally, after a year, and look, I know this is going to sound stupid to a lot of you guys. Like, it's fine. But this is a big deal for me, okay? Because I've been wanting this thing for like the longest time, really. Easily 15 years, maybe, if not longer. I've been dreaming about this item. And almost every year that went by, I was like, I'm going to save. I'm going to get it to this year's going to be the year. And finally, after months and months of saving, and thanks to Bitcoin, I was able to purchase this item. And boy, am I so excited. I'm so excited to add it to the background of this show. I cannot wait to be able to put it in the background. I need to get a few, not hooks, but like hangers or whatever you want to call it, holders, if you will, to place it in the background. But it's gonna go right here. It's gonna go right under the shelf. And ladies and gentlemen, I can show you what it is. I don't have it here with me now. It's in the other room. But I can show you what it is. Some of you who have followed me on Twitter or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok will already know what this item is. But I'm so excited. Sorry, I get excited. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you
trust only in the Force.
It's a lightsaber, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna go in the background of my show. Sorry, I know I suck at singing and I shouldn't be singing, but I'm so excited. I really am. Guys, you don't understand. I've been wanting a lightsaber for like the longest time. It looks so freaking cool. Oh my god. So I'm very excited about this. I know. Some of you are judging me so hard right now. I don't care. Want to know why? Because I got it. And this thing isn't some crappy, like, Toys R Us kiddies toy. This is like the real thing. It goes, it does the noises. I am going to do an unboxing. And I am going to do a video on it. So look out for that. Hopefully next week it will be released. And hopefully by next week it will be in the background. You'll be able to see it. It's not going to be lit all the time because, batteries. But it will be there so people can see it. And it's going to be cool. And it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I cannot believe it. And if you guys are wondering where I got it from. Now, I will say this right off the bat. They're not paying me to say this. They're not a sponsor yet. I'm just putting yet in there because maybe they watch this video and who knows, maybe they'll reach out. But Saber Vault, ladies and gentlemen. Saber Vault. Go. Please. Excellent service. I'm not even making this up. Excellent service. Like I messaged them on their website. I said, hey, when are your, I think this one's called Pixel Ultimate, because I have different kinds of sabers. So Pixel Ultimate, when is it coming in? Because you're out of stock. And then the guy was like, oh, you're lucky we have one. And I'm like, really? And then he's like, yeah, just refresh your page. You can order it right away. I was like, refresh, ordered it. And then within, I think, 3-4 days, it was at my place. And I was like, what? Like this, it's here. Great service, friendly staff, and the saber is great quality, man. It's not this cheapy bullshit thing. It's real. It's like sturdy, and it's freaking awesome. Like there's so many settings. Now I must say there's the Pixel Ultimate, and then there's the RGB or something like that. RGB is very simple, very plain. Still good quality. I've seen some videos. Still good quality, but they don't have a lot of cool features. And when I make the unboxing, I'll explain what I mean by that. It's still cool. It's just not as cool as the Pixel one. But yeah, this guys, I've been having too much fun. Like I've been having way too much fun. I think you may have heard that. Maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I've been having way too much fun.
Trust only in the Force.
I know. I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. I don't care. I really don't care. You guys don't understand how much this means to me. I'm so happy. I know it's weird. I know it's weird. But I don't think anybody could understand. I'm so excited to have it as part of my background. I cannot wait. It's gonna look pretty cool. It's gonna look really awesome. So yeah. Other than that, not much has been happening. That happened I got it on Friday. It came through on Friday. I did the order on Tuesday, came through Friday. So if it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 3 days. 3 days, and it was, but because I did the order on Tuesday, like closing time. Anyway, I would really like to know what some of you think about that. Let me just have a look here. The lightsaber, yeah. Batman costume, no. 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 Yeah, you were right. May the force be and with you too. Only comes at night. That's just so wrong. You have to dress as, well, I kind of did. Yeah, do an unboxing, man. I will do. Brilliant. So that color is the Dark Force one, hey? The color of the saber or the color of the blade? So the thing is with this saber, right, which is what makes it so awesome, is you can change it to any color. Any color. White, except for obviously black. The blade I'm talking about. So you could go purple, yellow, green, orange, all the turquoise, whatever you want. Like I said, it's got a lot of settings. It's really cool. It does different sounds. It activates differently. The blade does different animations. It's amazing. Like, you can have a lot of fun with it. And it's durable. Like, you can have a duel and stuff. Like, it's really cool. The hilt, or the bottom part of the saber, is called the Predator. That's the one that I got. I'll be honest, it was because it was affordable. There's quite expensive hilts on there. But that one was the one that was the most affordable for me. I think you should have a Star Wars party. I have a cool Chewbacca outfit. All right, Tracy. I have a Chewbacca mask right there. Right there. Wearing the Ramon Cabernac Obey mask, which he used to sell. So yeah. And soon, later on this month, I'm going to have more addition to the shelves. Ordered some stuffs. So there's going to be new additions here. And then I wanted to put the saber here. Right? I wanted to put it over here. Like, probably, yeah, it's going to have to go like there because that's, yeah, off. I wanted to put it there. But the problem is, it's too long, so you don't see the entire thing. So putting it under the shelf, you can see it in all its glory. So yeah. Yes, it is the laughing Chewbacca mask. The one where you open the mouth and it goes... I have a video on it, I think. I don't know. But yeah, it is that one. Hello, Valerie. How are you? So yeah, nerded out a little bit now. I know. Show the saber. I showed it. It's in the other room. But I showed a video of it. Do you want to see it again? Let's. I don't want to bore people by watching, by watching all the, what's it called? All the saber videos now. And people are like, all you're doing is like talking about sabers, man. It's so boring. Let me see if there is a different one. Let me just see here. I don't think so. I still need to make more. Oh, there was this one. Okay, this one's kind of cool. This was like the first video I made when I got the saber. Okay. Some of you may have seen it already. Yes, it's the same song.
Trust only in the Force.
Yeah! That's so cool. Love it. Yes, more Star Wars content coming your way soon. I got so many ideas. Sort of. But yeah. Dale, good to see you, man. Sorry, I just saw some people keeping me busy. Okay, cool. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, of course. Cool, man. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm noticing YouTube has a lot of comments, but I am streaming on Facebook. Let me just make sure I'm streaming on Facebook and stuff. Because maybe I'm not. Because I'm not getting any comments from the Fastbox. No, I am. There's 2 viewers on Facebook. Someone did comment now, but for some reason it didn't come through. Interesting. I'll have to check that out later. And then there is... Okay, so we are streaming on Facebook. Let me just make sure Twitch is working. Twitch and Twitter. Twitch and Twitter. Twitch and Twitter. Oh, shush. Let's see. Yeah, I'm also on Twitch. Cool. And then, of course... Why is this person spamming me? And she just hates spams. Okay, cool. So, I'm also on Twitter. Alright, so things are happening. It's a Monday. But thank you all so much for... There we go. There's the Facebook comments that came through. Bruce Haralambaus. Did I pronounce that correctly? I really try with names, by the way. I don't mean to offend anyone. I'm terrible with names, and reading them is even worse. Bruce Haralambaus. Haralambaus? It's a cool name, though. I like it. Haralambaus. Bruce Haralambaus. Yes. I don't know why. I think he said no. Sorry. Okay, I'll stop. Sorry. Yeah, Joe, you're okay. Thank you. Thank you. Your wife. Instead of filling the car. Yeah. My wife's actually been quite supportive about the saber. She knows how much she knows how much I wanted one. I think once she asked me what's one thing. I think it was one of the times that we were trying to find either birthday or Christmas gift ideas. So we were asking each other, okay, what's the one thing you've always wanted, right? And one of the things I said was, I've always wanted a lightsaber. Can't even explain to you how much I'm dying for one. And now I have one. I gotta admit, man, I've wanted this thing for so long. My life feels complete. I'm not even kidding. It feels like I've achieved Jedi level status. It's achievement unlocked kind of thing. I really am chuffed that I was able to get this thing. And Sabervolt is a South African company, which blows my mind even more, because finally there is a local lightsaber company, and guys, you gotta support them. If you're a Star Wars fan, please support them. I think they're doing quite well because their stuff sells out pretty damn quickly. But they are amazing, and again, they're not paying me to say this. They are really cool, I must admit that. Put the saber behind your back in the angle to reach with your hand. It will give it an interactive power look, and you'll have a backlight. The force will be with you. I don't know what you mean by angle to reach with your hand, but it's Pet Zoo Film Crew, like, you missed the whole thing. I'm gonna put it here. It's gonna go here, right underneath the shelf. That's where it's gonna go. I was thinking of putting it here, but it's in terms of camera angle. I'm gonna put something else here eventually. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put something else here that's even cool. Not cooler. Nothing's cooler than a lightsaber, but I'll put something else here that's just as cool. Show us a close up of. It's not Yoda. I've told you this before. It's Guru, the child from the Mandalorian. It's not Yoda. It's the same species though. Okay, yeah, I forgot he's stuck to the. I stick everything to the shelf. Because I dust everything off and it's just easier. So, sorry. You can see him from a distance. He's right there. That's Thanos. Right there. That's Thanos. Spider-Man. Guru. 3D printed hand. Vader holding a tech deck. Simpsons. Wookiee mask. Burbir. Ostrich. 3D printed thing I got from Yanni tonight. It's really cool. Goo. That blue stuff is goo. Bur Cola at the top there. Then Iron Man. And then a germ mug. And there's a sec thing from Ronaldo. It's a, what's it? It's milkshake opener thing. So yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to give this my best shot here. All I can say is to Escom, stick your krach where the sun doesn't shine. I have me a black box, almost like a piggy bank, except it stores krach for me. I have a feeling I've read something I'm not supposed to read. Perhaps someone can translate what krach is, 'cause I don't know what that is. Proudly South African, yes, absolutely. So excited. Yeah, it's really cool, guys. Really, really awesome. 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 Oh, okay. Power. Okay, thank you, Bruce. So it wasn't... Okay, so all I can say is to Escom, stick your power where the sun doesn't shine. I have me a black box, almost like a piggy bank, except it stores power for me. Okay, now it makes sense. Let's see. Yes, but put the saber in an angle behind the wall. Behind the wall. In relation to your back. Partially showing handle and part of the light. Looking like you can reach with your hand. I really don't understand. Huh? So, you want it sticking out, like, towards me? Nah, dude. Can't do that. That's not gonna work. No, it's gonna go like this. It's gonna... People will see it. Man, people will see it. Same angle as your mic handle. What? In front of me. It gives leading lines. Pocket. Electricity. Cool. Anybody understand what Pet Zoo Film Crew is trying to say? Because I don't. I'm not going to put the saber like here. That's just stupid. Like coming out like here or whatever. No, man. This already annoys me, by the way. I don't like the fact that my mic is like this. And if you're talking about like having the saber come out like this, you must be kidding. Absolutely not. No, it's gonna go behind, man. I don't know what you like. I get where you're coming from, and you're all like, cinematic and blah blah blah. No, dude. Like, this is something I have to disagree with you on. Point out to me anybody who has a lightsaber on YouTube and it's in front of them. Like, it's always behind them. And I'm gonna put it right there. Petsu Film Crew. Just let it be, man. Over your shoulder. You are making no sense. How do you even do that? So mounted behind on the wall, okay, but somehow still coming over my shoulder. That's weird, man. Are you talking about putting it here? I don't want to put it there. Okay, Petsu Film Crew. What's wrong? Let me ask you this. What's wrong with putting it here? I don't know what you're talking about, man. You're making no sense. I just want to know what's wrong with putting it underneath the shelf. I'll talk to you in person. I'll probably still won't understand what you say, and it's going to be too late because by the time we speak again, I'm going to have the lightsaber underneath. But don't worry. It may not be I'm still going to put something here. It's going to be cool. And it won't be the only lightsaber I get. Yeah. Gotta save up for another few months. Yeah. He means behind you at a slant, like the warriors carry it, I think. Yeah, okay, so I can't believe we're having this discussion now. Like, this way? Is this what you're talking about? At a slant? Because that's not gonna look nice. I don't like anime. Sorry to disappoint you. I think anime is stupid. And you might think Marvel is stupid, and that's fine. But I could never get into anime. I've tried. I've watched a few things. I think it's the most ridiculous thing ever. I don't get it. It's not funny. It's not like I get the art, if I could put it that way. Like I respect the art. Put it that way. I respect the artistic. What you call it? The artistic style. I respect that. But other than that, not a fan. Not even Goku. I don't watch any anime. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z. I don't watch any of that cock. That's what it is. Cock. Sorry. But I can't stand anime. Like, and I tried. What's that manga? I've tried this one about zombies. I've watched, I don't know, one about love, and this other one, Dragon Ball Z, and all these other stuff. I just can't. I can't get into it. I'm sorry. Suspended from the ceiling with gut floating effect. Yes, put it behind you in a slant. Thanks, Tracy. In the same angle as the mic handle. Actually test the other shoulder also. Okay. Wait, we're getting somewhere. Okay. So I'm getting this now. Let me. Okay. So this is. So you're like this, but just behind me, right? But then what was this cock about, like reaching out with your hand as if you can grab it? Like, what was that? So you're saying go like that, right? I don't want to put it at a slant, though. That's the thing. I really don't want to put it as I think it's going to look too awkward. Because this thing isn't small, dude. It's quite big. Like, it's pretty much the size of the shelf. Thank you, Tracy. You helped us out. Joe, get the saber. We'll help you position it. Should I don't know, man. Should I get... Okay. Just give me a second then. Just give me literally 60 seconds. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay. I got it. Okay. Now it's not going to fit in the frame. See, it's quite big, dude.
Power on.
Yes, it talks to you.
Mute. Volume high.
It's higher volume.
Volume low.
You guys just ban me. John Van Rensburg, why do you want to be banned? That's pretty cool, though. See, like, what I'm thinking is... There. What's wrong with this? I think this will look pretty cool. I mean, it's not going to be on the entire time. It's going to be off, so it's going to look like this. And it's just going to hang in the background like that. And from time to time, I might just show it off, like... Wee-hee! And then I thought of putting it here. But you see, you can't see all of it. That's... I mean, that's kind of cool, but... Nah. So, yeah. Alright, he says, now give me a slanted look. Yeah, wait. Hold on. Yeah, exactly. You get it now? Do you get it now? Do you understand why? Do you get it now? Oh yeah, you can do this, like, that's a blaster. It's so flipping cool, and you can also do this. There's like a lot of things you can do with this thing. It's so cool. A slanted look, hold on. I prefer straight, dude. I gotta be honest. I don't like the slanted look. Valerie, I'll show you your comment now. But yeah, I get where you're coming from, dude. But, nah. Straight, dude. I'll tell you why. You never know what... I might eventually change this microphone. You know what I mean? Like, this arm for the microphone may no longer... one day I might not be using it. And then what? If I had two lightsabers, I would put it as an X in the background. Hell yeah. I would agree with you on that. But yeah. The handle on top won't make a difference, dude. Won't make it. I don't like the slanted look. Unless there was two lightsabers, I would do a cross in the background. Hell yeah. I'm 100% with you on that one. I would do that. But with one, I'm just going to put it like this for now. Sorry, Pet Zoo Film Crew. But that's my decision, and I'm sticking with it. Let's see. Are you taking it to bed with you tonight, Joe? Maybe. I mean, look at it. I've got something better than a samurai sword. Well, I'm gonna get something better than a samurai sword. AA or AAA? Rechargeables. AA. Yeah, cool. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 10 minutes, I'm going to have Ian Cameron on the show. We're going to talk about the decay of SAPS. He's going to share with us some updates about the DNA backlog. We're going to talk about the firing of Sitole. We're going to talk about Bekitele. We're going to talk about SAPS. We're going to talk about a lot of things, and especially about Action Society South Africa, what they're up to, what they've been doing. And yeah, you can check out the links in the description below. You can find Ian Cameron on Twitter, and you can find Action Society's website. Please go check them out. Please support them. They are awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, in about 5 minutes, or less than 5 minutes, we're going to take a bit of a break. But yeah, guys, it's going to go up there eventually, right under the shelf. So yeah. Cannot wait for that. Awesome. John, why did you want to be banned, man? Is it what happened? I've never that was interesting. Please, look at this. Just ban me, please. Why? Why do you want to be? I mean, I'll do it, but why? I'm not gonna do it. I might. Actually, I have a samurai sword. Which blade is not supposed to bend? Well, after the home invasion, the blade is bent. Cool. Did you hit a wall? I'm kidding. Oh, by the way, guys, Pet Zoo Film Crew was actually at my open mic night. And he didn't perform. But he was filming, and the footage came out great, and hopefully I'll be releasing some of that footage later on in the week as well, so you guys can see. No, I dropped the mic. How do you sort which decayed, rotten sectors you want to discuss? Well, we're going to discuss the whole thing. The whole thing is messed up. The entire SAPS is just destroyed, honestly. But yeah, we're gonna talk, like I said, get an update on the DNA backlog. I think that's quite important. I've been talking about that for quite a while. I've been following that story. I do have an interview with Ian that went up recently after the firing of Sitole, which Action South Africa were quick to release a press release on it, because they've been advocating to get Sitole fired and Bekitele. They've been doing a lot of good work with that. So I had a chat with Ian. We discussed a few things, but tonight is the detailed discussion. Ian's a good guy. Met him a few times. Great chap. Looking forward to our conversation. It's gonna be real, guys. I don't think this is gonna be a conversation for the weak-hearted, if I could put it that way. If you're squeamish, I don't think you should watch this. Not that it is gonna be gory or anything. I just think there's gonna be some hard truths tonight. Some truths that probably people don't want to talk about. And it's time that people do. We're going to talk about the killing of the security guard that happened 2-3 weeks ago. We're going to see what happened behind that. We're also going to talk about the one thing that SAPS did that was quite good, which was they apprehended those people. I forgot what the thing was called now. But that heist. And yeah, so we will see how the conversation goes. These are the topics I want to talk to him about, but we'll see how it goes. Usually with these kind of things, it goes quite quickly. And guys, you can ask questions, eh? You're encouraged to ask questions. I will get to them towards the end. I do keep an eye on them. I do save them. So yeah, I can easily go back to them and see what you guys asked, and we can ask our guest your questions. So ladies and gentlemen, in about 30 seconds, I'm going to go on a break, on a 5-minute break, and we'll be back with Ian Cameron. Yeah, it's going to be fun. Yeah. I don't know what to say now. I actually went blank for that. Awesome. You still haven't told me why you want to be banned, man. I'm just curious. And by the way, guys, I'm gonna go on a break now. And like the music, look, I have to use royalty-free music, ladies and gentlemen. I have to. So it is what it is. But we'll be back after the break. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. While we're having a bit of a break and while we're here, I just thought I would let you guys know that you can become a member to this channel. When you become a member to this channel, there are 2 tiers. There's the Support Act and the Headliner Act. Each tier has its own perks. I'm not going to go into all the details right now, but just click on the join button, usually right next to the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed yet, by the way, subscribe. If you want to become a member, it would be greatly appreciated. It really goes a long way to supporting the channel and helping me to continue to create content for you guys. And just in case you might be interested, for some of you who may not know, I am also a stand-up comedian and I have a one-man show coming up in June of this year. There is a link in the description with all the details that you need to know, when, where, and how much, so please go check it out in the description below. There's also another show that I'm doing with fellow comedians. You may have seen our Say What show on this channel or the Late Night Chat show on this channel. We're doing a live show, and that's kind of a pun there because we mean in person with a live audience show. Please go to the link in the description below where you can find all the details. It is called Say What Unbuffered. So once again, take a gander at the links below and all the information will be there. All good, all good. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. My guest is here with me, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome to the show Ian Cameron from Action Society, ladies and gentlemen. Say hi,
How's
Ian.
it, Joe? Yo, yo, yo. Good. How's it? Good to be with you. Sorry for
Cool.
cutting it a bit close.
No worries. All good, all good. Just in time, just in time. All right, so Ian, it's good to have you back on the show. Now we got like an hour to talk about things. We most of the time you've been on the show, it's just been like a quick 10-minute thing. But yeah, I'm very excited to talk about SAPS and other updates revolving around SAPS and security in South Africa, yada yada yada. But very quickly, before we get really into it, why don't you tell people, for those who don't know, who you are and a little bit about Action Society, what exactly it is you guys do?
Yeah, so Action Society is, let's call it a gender-based violence watchdog. We were born just over almost 3 years ago, and a big focus on gender-based violence. I think with the current SAPS and general law enforcement crisis in South Africa, we've kind of become a bit of a law enforcement watchdog because the amount of help that we get asked for from the public is astonishing sometimes. I didn't realize how serious the issues in terms of law enforcement was. So anyway, Action Society focuses mainly on gender-based violence, but general policing issues too. Obviously, a firm supporter of the idea that communities need to be able to safeguard themselves in organized community safety structures, and we're really pushing certain campaigns, like for example the issue with the DNA backlog, the National Sex Offenders Register. There's a whole list of it, but in short, South Africa's got a serious gender-based violence crisis, and we are trying to find solutions for that, and we can talk about that maybe a bit later too.
Awesome. Sounds fantastic. Yeah, I've been following you guys for quite a while. You've done excellent coverage over the DNA backlog along with other stories. I mean, you guys are also campaigning to get rid of Beketele, and you were campaigning to get rid of Sitole, which I think you successfully have. We spoke a bit about that in a previous interview, which everyone's welcome to go check out. But yeah, what I want to talk to you about tonight, though, mainly, is, I think a lot of people, we all know SAPS is in dire straits. It's falling apart. You guys have been in the interview we had. You said we need to completely get like an overhaul of some kind, like another institution to take over, whatever the case may be. Maybe we should talk a little bit about that in more detail. What exactly are you guys advocating for? As I understand it, you're not necessarily saying SAPS needs to be completely dealt with or dismantled or like taken down from the ground up, because you said that wasn't going to be practical. But what exactly is your plan to try and fix SAPS?
Yeah, so I think there are a few things, Joe. It's quite a list of the different aspects that one needs to consider. But I think let's start with specifically the idea of SAP's leadership not being competent at the moment. So we really have a major problem with Beketele, and I'm going to give context to that first. Now that we have the extra time. So Beketele was National Commissioner about a decade ago, National Commissioner of Police. He was a political appointment in the South African Police Service. He had no policing experience whatsoever, but he came in with incredible charisma. And the public actually, in most cases, liked it. Police members also liked it because they felt like they had a leader that stood with them, spent time with them, made time to spend time on crime scenes. He would typically have a police chopper fly him out to for example, a cash in transit heist scene, and he would walk around with the cops and in his uniform, and he would say things like "shoot to kill" to the media, and so on and so forth. So morale wise at that stage, it actually made a bit of a positive impact. But in the background, he was doing tremendous damage to the South African police service. I mean, for example, just before FIFA World Cup, he passed, he signed off on the pass of thousands of police recruits that didn't go through the necessary psychological assessment for them to be passed as police constables. Uh, Many of them were passed despite the fact that they uh, uh, didn't pass their remedial. So they already failed once, failed twice, failed 3 times, and then they still got their uniforms. And the interesting thing is that the Tsele generation from when he was the national commissioner has actually turned the police into one of the biggest domestic violence, let's call it, breeders in the country. We've got a major challenge with cops that aren't psychologically fit to do the job. They work under immense pressure. And don't get me wrong, there are many thousands of fantastic policemen and women in South Africa working under immense pressure. And unfortunately, that generation are just not making it. They're not surviving, and yeah, so Tsele has caused major trouble. In short, I think before we move on to maybe the next bit about what SAPS can do, but we need to fix the leadership issue first. We haven't had a decent national commissioner in the last 2 decades. The ones that we did have that were career members were few and far in between, and very few of those career members ended up being, well, honest and people of integrity. Everyone was somehow caught up in some kind of corruption, as we saw with the recent national commissioner as well. So, firstly, we need to cut off the snake's head.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But yeah, before we get into that, I do have a question about that. Hold on. I have to address this. John Van Rensburg giving a 35 Rand super chat. Thank you so much, John. You can leave a comment or a question with that, but yeah, thank you so much for the support. It's greatly appreciated. It means a lot to me. And he also says, my lotto ticket is going for Jeremy tonight. Thank you so much. I hope I'll bring good luck. All right, so I'll remember, ladies and gentlemen, I will keep an eye on the questions. So keep the questions coming in, and I'll ask them to Ian towards the end. Ian, once again, we need to cut off the head of the snake, as it were, and probably another few heads will grow, but then we just need to chop it off. Do you think maybe we should do like a whole what's that movie with Russell Crowe and Denzel Washington, where it was about the US, when there was like a lot of gangsters in the US, and Russell Crowe was a cop, Denzel Washington was one of the gang leaders. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. I can't remember the name now. I've gone blank, but I know the movie you're talking about.
Yeah, do we need something like that to happen in South Africa, where like a gang leader maybe turns on each other and like works with the cops, and then they just clean it all out, or is that not?
I think I wish it could happen. I think the problem in South Africa is so deeply rooted. I mean, you guys all saw what happened in Rosettenville 2 weeks ago. It was great. It was fantastic to see the amount of dead suspects lying in the road. It's fantastic. It's great. And in fact, I would love to see more of that. It was so nice to see cops winning the fight. It was nice to watch some of the footage about how, to see how professionally many of them approach the scene, approach suspects, how they move tactically. There was just so many things to be excited about. But then Bekele shows up on scene. He destroys half of the forensic evidence just by walking over everything. He ends up questioning suspects on camera that then gets distributed the whole. It's just an embarrassment. He's honestly an embarrassment, and that type of thing makes it difficult. And then we look at Rosettenville, and we're so happy that it happened, but. Joe, Rosettenville is few and far in between. The amount of violent criminals in South Africa, I don't think we realize how serious it is. Remember, if we just think in terms of murder, just about 95% of murders are reported in South Africa, in the country. That was a stat from 3-4 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So it's close to 100%, which is not a bad statistic for Africa, at least. And we've got just over 22,000 murders annually in the country. 22,000 murders is a hell of a lot of murders. Eh? It's a lot of people dying, and
Yeah.
if we consider that, and the people that do that, obviously everything's not necessarily robbery related. It gives you an idea of how many bad people there are in this country. So the criminal justice system is not functioning properly. It's a big challenge.
Yeah, like I think the murder stats are, that's one thing that kind of bewilders me when it comes to South Africans, a few South Africans who don't realize how bad it actually is. Because, I've seen South Africans and I've heard South Africans say this, where they're like, yeah, we've got high crime, but what are you going to do? That's Africa. Oh, that's South Africa. It's like, you're being conditioned to accept this when it should alarm you that this is the rape capital of the world. It should alarm you that this is one of the most dangerous places to live in the world. It shouldn't be something that you're just like, well, it is what it is, But again, I think what also people get despondent about is also SAPS. Like, we rely on them to protect us, but it doesn't feel like they protect us. And I guess my next question to you would be like, is there a way besides, well, I think the most obvious way, obviously, for someone to protect themselves is to get armed. What do you say to people who are against firearms?
They shouldn't live in South Africa. They need to immigrate immediately. No, I think if you think you're going to live in South Africa, at least in the next 3 decades, and be anti-firearms, you're going to have a pretty tough time with keeping safe, because you're not going to be able to have armed response, and you're not really going to be able to look after yourself, which is obviously first prize. No, Joe, it's simple. In my opinion, get armed, get trained, be ready. That's it. Those are the 3 steps. The more training, the better. People need to know that to be safe in South Africa, you are your first and often last line of defense. And in many cases, the cops don't show up at all. And it's not always because the cop is a bad cop. It's just because the system doesn't function properly. So on average, in urban areas, it takes between 20 and 23 minutes for the police to show up in South Africa. That gives you ample time. Many urban robberies, house robberies in South Africa, don't take much longer than 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. Then on rural areas, farm attacks, that type of thing, I've worked with that for many years. You've got scenes that can last up to 11 hours, 12 hours. I remember a scene, a Johan van Rensburg scene that I worked on. He was tortured for just over 8.5 hours. And in a rural area, there was just no chance that the police would even know about the fact that he was being attacked. He was completely isolated. And it just gave them so much time to do absolutely horrific things to this old guy. So, it really depends on the area. The point is, if you don't have a gun and know how to use a thing, and this isn't to be bleak with anyone, I think it's a matter of time until you are left defenseless. So I want to encourage people that once you can legally own a firearm in South Africa, I would encourage them to do it. And one must also realize that it comes with a great responsibility. I'm not the kind of person that says just pull the trigger left, right, and center, start shooting and killing people. But I must say, I absolutely advocate for law-abiding citizens to be armed in South Africa.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think Tracy said it, and I agree with this. Guns don't kill, people do it. Absolutely. You need to learn the safety of a gun. And if you know the safety of a gun and you know how to respect a gun, and you're level-headed, you're not going to kill anyone. You're only going to use it for what it actually is for, which is to protect yourself and your family. But yeah, I think one of the things I did want to also talk to you about is, and you brought it up now, farm attacks, farm murders, very touchy subject for South Africans. There's a lot of people out there that say that it's just propaganda, that farm attacks are real and farm murders are real, but there's no, like, I don't know, they try and downplay it, like for example, I've seen people say this where they'll say, yeah, okay, farm murders are bad, yes, and they're terrible, but they're part of the statistic. They're part of the 56 a day that die. And it's like, do you even listen to what you're saying? You're saying that it's okay that people are dying. Like, whether it's 56, 25, 10, it shouldn't happen, period, especially farmers. We need our farmers. They're very important to our society and for food. And only when I think that people go to the shops and they realize that there's no food there, then they'll be like, oh, crap, what did we do? But for those who, say those things, farm murders and farm attacks aren't a big deal. They're not. They shouldn't be priority for the cops. What do you have to say to those people?
Sure. So I think it's a multifaceted answer. I think in the first place, it is a very serious problem. Now, South Africa has a few pretty daunting crime issues at the moment, and rural safety is definitely one of them. I mean, Joe, let's be honest. You don't see any other crime in South Africa where someone gets tortured for 10 hours straight. Uh, the one I was mentioning earlier, when we got there, that guy's nail marks were stuck in the carpets because of the way they dragged him through the house. You don't see other crimes where a woman has to watch her husband being shot and then she gets locked in a safe with the lights on for almost 24 hours with her husband's body. And I can tell horrific stories. My team and I, at that stage, we had contact with just over 3,000 farm attacks during that 11-year period. And it is definitely a very, very serious thing. I think the challenge that we have is that many people have done a lot of damage to the farm attack campaign to highlight the issue. They've politicized it to a point where many people don't take them seriously anymore. If you shout white genocide behind every single farm attack, people aren't going to listen to you anymore. It's just a tainted subject in South Africa, and whether you believe it or not, that approach will never work in this country. I always answer people in saying we need to look at each case on its own, and I didn't say that because that's what I thought. I said that because that's what I had to do. I saw many hundreds, thousands of cases, and all of them were different. And I can honestly tell you that there were many of them that weren't race motivated whatsoever, and no one was seriously injured. And then there were others where there were racial slurs and where there were even political things said, where they were pro, for example, Malema or EFF things said on a scene. And there were other cases where almost all the attackers were foreigners. They weren't even from South Africa. And so it's a very complex crime. It is something that does require specialist attention. And it's good that there are organizations like AfriForum that campaign for that. And I think it's important that more research is done on the issue. But farm attacks are definitely not that simple that one can just say it's only political, or it's only racial, or it's only robbery. There are many facets at play, and one needs to consider all of them.
Yeah. No, I think you put it fairly, and it's look, any murder, and I've said this as well on my show. Any murder is a problem. Because a lot of the times when I speak about farm murders, I always have someone in the comments saying like, yeah, but why don't you talk about the townships? Like, people are dying in the townships. Look, I'm telling you what I hear. If you're telling me that people are dying in the townships, I'm going to talk about that too. Like, mainstream media also doesn't talk about that.
And to sorry I'm interrupting you, but,
no, go ahead.
Something that's very, very important is that no one said that a farmer's life is more important than another life per individual. But something that's important to consider is that a farmer typically employs many people. The death of a farmer has a major ripple effect on that entire community. And remember, a commercial farm where the farmer is killed. Has my camera gone down?
Yeah, it's a little bit frozen. I can hear you. It's just a little bit frozen.
Okay. I'll switch it back on now, but just give me a sec. I look like a clown there. But if you if you consider a farmer, being killed, a commercial farmer, it takes between 5 and 8 years for that farm, if it was to recover again and be fully productive again. 5 to 8 years. That's a major, major issue. And then imagine the amount of people that are left, jobless. Let me just restart my camera quickly. I'm going to be with you in 2 minutes, if that's
No
okay.
worries. That's okay. All right, cool. So while we wait for him to come back, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, this is a rough. I told you, like, some of the stuff might be a bit hectic to listen to. Ian has a lot of experience with farm attacks and farm murders, and he advocates a lot on his Twitter account. He will share incidences of attacks and murders. And yeah, it's quite sad what he said, and I'm a little bit shaken myself. But yeah. Thanks for the laugh, John. Saying Frozen, let it go. Yeah. I think. Let me see what Bruce said here. Have the police set up any type of SIU with regards to farm murders? What is the official position on it? Okay, I'll ask Ian when he comes back that question, seeing as we're on that topic. But yeah, anybody else who wants to ask questions, like I said, please keep them coming. Like I said, towards the end, I will ask Ian I'll ask Ian the questions that you guys have. So yeah, let's see what Pet Zoo Film Crew says. I cannot have a gun; it's too quick. What? All right, here's Ian. There we go. Are you back?
I'm back. There we go. Sorry, man.
Awesome. No worries. All good. Sorted. I have a question here. I know I said I'd leave the questions for the end, but this question is related to what we're talking about now. Have the police set up any type of SIU with regards to farm murders? What is their official position on it?
So no, they haven't. Let's give context. So in 2003, Jackie Salebi was the National Commissioner of Police, also a political appointment. He was supported by Thabo Mbeki, who was the president at that stage. And they disbanded the commandos, which was the last really statutory type of effort to safeguard rural areas in the country. And it was very obvious that the ANC was scared of some kind of let's call it a third force type of additional army that might be gathering that could influence, political stability in the country, well, at least political stability in their eyes. And they then disbanded the commandos. So when they disbanded the commandos, Thabo Mbeki and Jackie Salebi said that they would be an alternative to give community statutory power, which was the reservist model. So the reservist model was quite strong at that stage, and it kept on developing for another 4 or 5 years, and then training just basically stopped to the point where, I'm going to come back to the specialist units now, but to the point where between the FIFA World Cup in South Africa in 2019, we lost about 85% of reservists. So we had about 67,000 during the FIFA World Cup. In South Africa, we now, in 2019, had less than 9,000 left. So lost a lot of them. So there's no real community capacity created. And then in terms of that SIU type of model, no, there was never any kind of specialist unit. We have rural safety units that are connected to a station. They do have a national rural safety committee. They've got provincial ones as well. I sat on several of those committees, and it was quite disappointing, to be very honest. It was more a bragging session for some of the rural safety coordinators for them to say how many farms they'd visited. I laughed the one day I sat at a committee where the KwaZulu-Natal rural safety coordinator told us that he had visited 13,000 farms in in 1 month. Do the math. The amount of visits you need to do in a time. But anyway, he got roasted like really badly by his colleagues and by other people. My point is just no specialist capacity, and I don't think we will see it anytime soon. At least not something that is based on merit. The only place that I have seen some kind of specialist statutory change was in the Western Cape, where they empowered certain parts of the community in certain areas. And I know they are testing the model here and there, where they've actually got reservists that report to the municipality or the province, and not to SAPS. And that helped to just have some kind of statutory power back in the community. But again, it's not specialist units. It's not something that purely focuses on that.
Okay. Yeah, it's oh man, it like one of the things again that boggle my mind is the dismantle of the commandos and how these farmers, some of them are left in the middle of nowhere to protect themselves, and they've had to basically come together in the community. And I mean, I was with a farmer in Brits, and he, you know, was showing me how every night he's on radio, he's listening out. He was like the medic, so if they need help with anything medical, he'll go out and he'll help or whatever. And every night, almost every night, he's on duty. You know, so he not only does he work a full day on the farm, he also has to patrol in the evening. It's a very hard job to be a farmer in South Africa.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, all right. So we spoke about farm murders, which is a touchy subject. But let's talk about another touchy subject. GBV, right? So you guys do a lot of advocacy for that. I've seen it. DNA backlog. Last time you told me that the DNA backlog is down to 100,000 or over, just over 100,000 cases. Is this still the case?
We haven't had any other feedback. We actually had a discussion about it today. It's gone very, very quiet. So we're busy considering the different remedies that we can follow. I must be very just blatantly honest. I honestly don't think it's going to be solved anytime soon. It doesn't help that they've ring-fenced the original backlog, because that's what they did. They took the 300,000, they ring-fenced it, and they didn't consider the numbers with the accumulating cases that were coming in whilst they were focusing on reducing the backlog. So, Joe, again, it sounds terrible. I think half the people watching this will need to go on antidepressants afterwards. But it is that bad. I must say that something that does give me some hope is that I hear that some of the people that have been appointed in different parts of the forensic labs throughout the country are very competent and really good at what they do. So I honestly hope that does make a difference. But again, political influence in the police is a major issue. And I read a report today that comes from the Western Cape Community Safety Committee that basically discusses parts of or challenges faced by police. And if we only look at the Western Cape, you've got literally hundreds of detectives, if not thousands, that aren't trained to have been detectives. They didn't go through the basic detective course. Just over 70% of them don't have informers, so it's almost 50%. I just got the figure here: 45.8% of detectives in the Western Cape didn't go through the basic detective learning program. So you can't expect forensics to get any better if the detectives themselves aren't up to scratch with what the important job that they need to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's, again, scary figures. And you mentioned earlier, like, you hate to sound so negative, but here's the thing, Ian. I really think like some South Africans are living in a bubble. Like, it's why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because there are some realities that South Africans need to know about. And I hope that people will share this interview. And I will be putting this interview up on its own in an hour, on its own hour. So I hope that people share it. But it's a reality check that people need. Like, we have a DNA backlog of 100,000. Hopefully it's not more, and hopefully it's less. And I think, just to give a bit of context for those who are watching who may not know, what we're talking about, the DNA backlog, what's that? Um, you know, explain to people what is so important about this DNA backlog.
Well, basically, to give you an idea of why DNA is important and why, let's rather say, DNA is not the only way to link a criminal to a crime or to link a suspect to a crime scene, but it is one of the best and most accurate ways of doing so. And if we can get DNA, say for example, a sample of hair on a scene, it matches a specific person that might have been arrested, but it's difficult to have him or her convicted. It might just be that link that one needs to fix it. Um, the challenge that we have is, like, for example, the 300,000 backlog. You've got more or less average of 4 pieces of evidence um, per case in those 300,000 cases. So multiply that by 4, and you've got more than 1 million pieces of evidence that need to be assessed and gone through. So it's a mammoth task. And what started happening with the DNA crisis is that the Plattekloof DNA lab in the Western Cape was still functioning quite well compared to the other ones in the country. And then suddenly we saw that cops were literally driving evidence with their own personal vehicles or state vehicles to Plattekloof to have it processed quickly there, just in the hope of getting the jobs done properly. Now, hats off to them because they're actually trying to do it, but that shows you how ineffective the system is. So, how do you keep the morale up in a police service that is that broken? So, in short, DNA is just an incredible way of linking suspects and victims and so on to scenes. It's something that can really uh, uh, confirm many thoughts and ideas around how crimes were committed. It can confirm just so much more, and it is a fantastic way of ensuring that justice is served.
Yeah, and isn't it true that Brendan Horner case, the DNA backlog affected that case?
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of many. Also took very, very long. I actually don't think everything was ever even processed properly. I know in the Bernadette Hall case in Fochville in Gauteng many years ago, um, the jacket of Bernadette's husband that was shot dead in front of her uh, was found months later in a police van behind the seat. It was just chucked behind the seat, all still bloody and everything. It was just left there. And cops had been driving that vehicle for months. That evidence was never handed in. And there are many examples like that. So yeah, it's a big challenge. If we look at the Schedule 8 offender, without getting too technical, but the fact that Ramaphosa announced that by the end of January, all Schedule 8 offenders must submit DNA samples. A very positive statement to have made, but I haven't seen it being implemented anywhere in the country. I don't think there's any form of training done on it. And it basically means that any rapist or rape suspect, murder suspect, etc., has no choice but to submit a sample at a police station. And yeah, according to me, that hasn't been done yet. And remember, in 2017, the Minister of Justice, Ronald Lamola, signed off on the release of almost 100,000 Schedule 8 offenders, and none of those 100,000 had DNA samples submitted.
Jeez. I mean, like, what was the excuse for releasing them? Do you remember?
Well, basically, there were a few things, but basically, amongst other things, prisons are very full. There's a major problem with that. Many of them went out on parole. Others were, it was their time to be released. The point is just the majority of those people, unfortunately, have a very, very strong likelihood of returning to violent crime again.
Yeah.
And now you've got no way of matching them. So even if you do rearrest them, there's no way of linking them to other crimes. So we basically shot ourselves in the foot and we released 100,000 violent criminals back onto the street. And it's as simple as that. You can imagine if you had a rapist that had raped several women. There are several cases against him for what he had done. Now you release that person, he's back out on the street, and you can't link him to other cases. It's just no way of doing it.
Yeah.
So if you were to arrest him for one rape, he's never going to get the punishment that he really deserves.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, I hope we're not giving anyone any ideas here, because on the one hand, it's very sad, it's very dangerous, it's very concerning, but on the other hand, somebody might be watching this and being like, maybe I should commit a murder, and that's we don't want that either. Please don't. It's in like, I get so. Because this is the thing, right? So you speak about these realities. It frustrates everyone, right? It makes everyone sad and depressed and like, oh man, what the hell's going on? And this is why people choose to ignore it. But here's the thing. We can't ignore it. And I got a question here from Mr. Julius. I think this is a troll, but I'm going to read the question anyway. Because it says Mr. Julius, I'm assuming here. But what do we do?
Who would punish their child like that?
But what do we do with these realities? How do we fix it? And I think I think what we mentioned earlier, is like you said, get armed, get the training. That's the first step. Second step would be working with your community, and I think that's something you advocate for as well. So maybe you can enlighten us with maybe the best way to try and fight back.
Yeah, so there are a few steps to follow. I think firstly, let's start with the community side. It's crucial that you get involved in your community. You need to make sure that you're part of a neighborhood watch, farm watch, etc. A lot of people say, yeah, but there's no statutory power and so on and so forth. A well-organized community, ladies and gents, is one of the best ways not only to deter normal crime, violent crime, etc., but it's also a great way of deterring political crime, as we saw during the July 2021 unrest. I remember a case, and for their sake, I'm not going to say exactly where, but I remember a case, I'll say the province in Mpumalanga a few years ago, where Neighborhood Watch I worked with actually went to, they got information that the EFF were going to occupy a piece of land close to where they patrol, and they just rallied the majority of the community, and they waited for the buses of EFF members to arrive. And when the EFF guys got off the bus, they got right back on and they left, and problem was solved. And the police just knew that if the EFF don't get back on the bus, there's going to be definite bloodshed, and the EFF are definitely going to lose. So let's face another thing, and something I love about Morning Shot and what Ramon says, the EFF are inherently cowardly people. They are cowards. They cannot stand on their own 2 feet. The only time that they have any form of supposed guts is when they say things to cameras, and when they have a whole army of people standing behind them. And even then, they are pretty cowardly, as we saw in Brackenfell not a long time ago. So I think it's very important that people realize the strength of organized communities. Then, Joe, I think it's crucial that you arm yourself. If you're not a fan of firearms, then do something else. Make sure you get some form of formal training about how you can safeguard yourself, your family, your home, what you can get into place, early warning systems, we always tell people when we write for firearms.co.za that if you can defend yourself, you can defend your family. If you can defend your family, you can defend your neighbors. And when neighbors start defending each other, they safeguard a community. And that's it. You need to look at it like layers of an onion that you peel. And that's the kind of approach we need. In terms of the statutory solutions that Mr. Julius asked, it's challenging. We need to obviously go to court if we can and if we have the funds for it. It's important that we follow a double strategy. On the one side, we want to make sure that we've got strong community structures. On the others, we want to make sure that we also use the statutory channels that we have to our disposal to sort out these problems. And on top of that, we have the question of federalism. Isn't it something we should start considering in South Africa? Have a federal type of system that you actually get what you vote for, because it's easy for people to keep on voting ANC, but the actual people that pay the tax don't vote for them, but they have to suffer under the same idiotic rulers. And so that's something we can start looking at. So there are many ways to skin a cat. The point is just that we need to find avenues to try and utilize all of these solutions to make a safer, more sustainable future in South Africa.
Hey, I think it's great advice. It's something that I'm also starting to do with my community, is getting to know everybody, get to know thy neighbor, be friendly with thy neighbor. You never know what could happen, and it's very important. And I think that's the first step. Just get to know your neighbor, be friendly with your neighbor, and then slowly and surely to have a chat, start building that community together. You mentioned, and I'm glad you brought it up. You mentioned firearms.co.za. Tell us more about that. People don't actually know a lot about it. They know that you're from Action South Africa. Sorry, Action Society, South Africa. You're an advocate. You do a lot of work for that organization, but you also have Firearms Guardian. Now, what is that about? What's all that about?
Yeah, so a few years ago, actually, because of the farm attack issue, I spent a lot of time in rural areas, both in townships in rural areas, really, really poor communities, where very often, and obviously on the farms as well, very often you had legal, or rather law-abiding armed citizens that would defend themselves. They would fatally wound a suspect, and then they would end up getting arrested and charged for murder, which is a load of absolute nonsense. It started feeling to me like the law-abiding citizen is always in question instead of the criminal. Why are we always asking, why did you pull the trigger? Why aren't we asking why the criminal was in my house trying to rape my wife? Maybe I'm being melodramatic to some people, but that's how serious the violence issue is in South Africa. And it just started feeling to me like we need some kind of backup for law-abiding citizens. So firearms.co.za is basically a platform where we share anything gun-related, firearm-related, whether it's legislation, opinion pieces, guides, gun guides, even a few reviews. And it's about a year and a half, almost 2 years old now. And we try and publish as much content as we can just to keep it interesting for people in South Africa. And that's it. But then we developed Firearms Guardian, which is an insurance product that guarantees legal and liability cover for you if you were to shoot someone in self-defense. And we cover your family as well. So one person in the family can take it out. Your wife ends up using your firearm or vice versa. We will still then see how we can cover you. Long story short, we developed it. We started rolling it out in December 2021, and it's going really well. We're getting flooded with inquiries, and we're very excited about the future of it. I think it's the first time that it's not just a firearm advocacy group, talking a lot about guns and just looking at license applications and how we can supposedly badmouth the police. It's plain and simple. It's a physical service we want to provide to support gun owners in South Africa and make sure that legally armed citizens can stay legally armed. So we then basically guarantee that they will get legal help. So if something were to happen, you have a 24/7 number, you call it, and we immediately send someone to assist you in the form of legal help.
Fantastic. I love it. Isn't like there is a difference between that and GOSA, right?
Yeah, so I think it's an important question. I don't think this should be confused with, for example, GOSA or Saga or NAFO or any of those organizations. We work very closely with NAFO, with the Responsible Firearms Organization in South Africa, and Almo Schaefer and his team are fantastic. So we obviously support the idea of organized firearm advocacy groups or gun right groups in South Africa. They play a crucial role. I think something that disappointed me a lot over the last year or two with the whole firearm industry thing is how many of the organizations don't want to work together, how they fight amongst each other, literally like a bunch of little kids, and how the internal politics just they actually just disgust you, and how some of the biggest organizations, without saying names here, some of the biggest firearm organizations, member organizations, don't work together, and even something like Firearms Guardian, they don't see use in it because it doesn't have their name in it, and I think that's sad, in my opinion, and that's what we try to do with Firearms at Sierra ZA. We want to share as much information, regardless of who it's from, as long as it's accurate and objective. We want to share as much as we can with the world out there to just make being lawfully armed in South Africa easier. Um, so yeah, but we obviously support the idea that people need to sign up to a NAFO, Saga, GOSA, SA Hunters, and so on and so forth. And then a very important one is to sign up to Safe Citizen Campaign, Jonathan Deal's organization. Uh, they do phenomenal work, and they've done a hell of a lot of work with the whole firearm amendment process.
Yeah. Speaking of that, is there any updates with the firearm amendment process? I think it was canceled. Was it thrown out, or is it still?
Um, it's been put on ice for now. I think victory was claimed a little quick by again some of the organizations. It was kind of saying who won and who didn't. I think it was a fantastic group effort. I think it was great to see the amount of organizations that made their voices heard during that time. I think Dear South Africa played a astronomical role in making sure that people knew that they could comment and that they could submit their comment and opinion, which played a massive role. But yeah, for now it's on ice. I think it's going to come back within the next year or two. I've got no doubt. I think the ANC have a definite plan of trying to disarm citizens. They want complete control. They are a communist organization, always have been, always will be. People can try and word it otherwise with funny democratic words, and under the cloak of, or hidden under the cloak of supposed democracy and being liberal. They are communists. That's it. They want complete control. They want to centralize it, and they want to make sure no one in society is legally armed but them.
Yeah. No, absolutely, 100% agree with you on that one. And I mean, like, ANC hasn't been shy about it. I mean, they openly said that the South African Communist Party has been an integral part of their liberation movement. I mean, that should tell you something right there. All right, so Ian, we're nearing the end of the hour. So, as promised, I want to get to some of the questions that the people have asked throughout the stream. I'm just gonna ask the ones that stood out to me. I already asked you the one about the SIU. The other one that I have here is, what is our capacity regarding SANDF force?
There's no capacity. There's nothing to get excited about. It really is up in shambles. In terms of the recce's or special forces guys, there are still quite a few of those units that operate very, very well. They've got limited resources in some cases, but from what I've seen and heard with a few contacts and actually a few friends that I've spoken with actually in the last week or two, they are reasonably resourced, depending on where they are deployed and so on and so forth. And they're quite operational. They still work in many areas. There are quite a few of them don't know if we're meant to say it or not, but quite a few of them in Mozambique at the moment, and they're operating. So there are good people there, but I think in the broad sense, you can't really call it an army. Their border protection capacity is, yeah, it's really bad. I worked in Limpopo last year for a bit and spent quite a bit of time on the Zim border, and it was incredible to see what a fantastic transport network this SANDF have built there. But there's a trick: they don't transport their own people; they transport cigarette smugglers. They assist them, and they do it really well. So they actually make DHL look, yeah, pretty unprofessional.
Oh wow.
They're very good at courier services, and I'm not just saying this. We literally saw this in the
Yeah.
middle of the day. You see them picking up cigarette smugglers. They assist them smuggling. They get some cash, and so on and so forth. So it's it's the SANDF is in very, very bad shape.
Well, I was gonna ask as a follow-up question, like if, God forbid, we go to war with, let's say, Russia, how would you feel? Would you put your money on Russia, or would you put your money on the South African army?
Oh no, Russia. No, there's no doubt. No, no. There's just no comparison. Botswana would kick our asses. Namibia would kick our asses. There's
Oh,
no
okay.
doubt. There's just no doubt.
Namibia, really?
Would literally, absolutely. No, there's just the South African Defence Force, Joe. They are really in bad shape. I mean, they struggle to get enough fuel to get vehicles working for a
That's
show.
true. Yeah.
And then when they actually have the show and they got the fuel, then they need to find the vehicles. So it's just it's really it's bad. And you know the sad thing about it is, you know, we were rated as one of the best defense forces in the world 30, 40 years ago. If you speak to people like retired General Roland de Vries, that's someone that you should maybe get on your show one day. What an incredible person to speak with. You know, he wrote a book called Eye of the Firestorm. And if you read, you know, his nickname was, he was the Rommel of Africa. Not because of anything Nazi related, but because he was this incredibly mobile infantry commander, and they just managed to cover ground faster than anyone had ever seen. It was just remarkable. And if you look at South Africa and South African Defence Force today, there's just no way on earth that they would manage it. I mean, you saw during the lockdown, there's some of the soldiers that are too fat to even get on the back of a truck. So how on earth are they going to defend you? There's just no chance. I'm sorry.
Not just that, but the ANC doesn't feed them either, so that's also a problem.
Yeah, so they're either dying or they're being overfed. It's one of the two.
All right. Final question of the evening, which I think I know your answer, but I can't remember. Acid Zill was asking, ask Ian what he thinks of Cape Independence or Cape Exit.
I support it. I'm going to be very, very blunt about it. I support it. I actually today, about 3 hours ago, I registered to join the march.
Yeah, I'll see you there then.
Yeah, boom. We need to do it. And you know what? It's not about the actual organization or the name or the flag or anything like that. I think we need to exhaust every single remedy we can to push the federalism idea. And I think that's a very good way of doing it. So if we get complete independence in the Cape or not, I think South Africa as a whole, whether it's in the Western Cape or not, need to start adopting the idea of having federalist or federalism as a provincial type of governing structure. And therefore I support it. And I definitely support the idea of a referendum in the Western Cape. And the sooner that happens, the better. Legislation already allows it. We need the Premier to ask for it. And then you've got a few dimwits that keep on saying that, you know, you can't you can't expect it to be successful because these organizations didn't do well in the election. Well, they didn't do well in the election because they've got no proven track record in local government. So people are rather going to stay comfortable. But trust me, if there is a referendum, I am convinced more than 50, even 60% of people in the province will say yes, we need a federalist system.
Well, that's you're very confident because 60% would mean we get independence. Um, so yeah, it's look. I'm we've spoken about it. I'm definitely for it. And I'm for federalism. I'm not too sold. I mean, I know federalism can work, but I don't know, man. There's still in a federalism situation, the ANC still has somewhat control, if that makes sense. Like they're not like as controlled as it is now. It's definitely decentralized, but they still, they still have a say on some things, which is what bothers me. But then again, the ANC may not even be in power by come 2024. Hopefully, if definitely out by 2029. Just one more question. Sorry. The firearm law is preventing us from defending ourselves. Nearly got arrested for firing a warning shot. Ask the cops if I shoot the guy next time, how else can I stop them?
No, you shoot him. No warning shots. There's
go.
nothing in legislation that tells you need to fire a warning shot. And the challenge with a warning shot is that it leaves a lot of room open for interpretation. Was he running away? Was he not running away? Why did you fire the gun? Was there someone there? Then you've got a constable with little or no training that shows up and says, but there's no proof or evidence that a suspect was here. Why did you discharge a firearm in a built up area, and so on and so forth? And eventually you're going to join Julius Malema in East London in the dock, needing to answer for his discharging of a firearm. So no, you need to realize that if you have a firearm and your life is being threatened or someone else's life is being threatened, you need to understand the responsibility that you took to get that firearm. And the rule is simple: you take a life to save a life. It's not something you play around with or go half measures. And I'm not saying this lightly. I have been in a very small handful of situations where shots were fired, where I was also involved, and it's not a funny thing. There's nothing romantic about it. In fact, it's not a nice situation to be in. People need to stop romanticizing violence in South Africa. But that being said, one needs to understand the responsibility it comes with. When you are in that situation, you need to make sure that you act accordingly.
Absolutely. Tracy, sounds like you could also use the services of Firearms Guardian. So please go check them out and, become, do you call them members or clients or?
Yeah.
Members?
Clients or members, it doesn't matter. But please join. And if Tracy, if you or anyone else has questions like these, you're welcome to contact us. Send an email. I'll make sure I come back to you within 24 hours and see how we can be of assistance, or even just have a chat. If there's something we can give some advice on, we'll gladly do so.
Fantastic. Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much time to end the show. Ian, thank you so much, man. I really enjoyed this conversation. It was a bit bleak, a bit sad at times. But I feel it's a conversation that we need to have more often because people need to understand the severity of South Africa. The more we talk about it, hopefully the more we can wake up people, and people will start doing things. People start taking action, building that community, protecting themselves, doing what needs to be done to protect themselves and their loved ones. Is there anything you want to say in closing?
Yeah. No, I think let's keep the moral high ground. I think there's hope. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm really glad we don't live in Canada at the moment. I'm really glad we don't live in many parts of Europe at the moment. It's basically rather the enemy and we've got many solutions and remedies we can take on. I think the biggest challenge we have is that people don't like to collaborate. And we need to do that, and we need to give different organizations their time to shine. It shouldn't be one or the other. It should be one and the other.
Yeah. Just let me also add to Tracy's thing. She said, I got told if I shoot and he's not armed, I'm in jail. how can you see in the dark if someone is armed? It's a good point. And then she also adds that she had a gun shop, so she belongs to the Firearm Association. Okay, cool. Yeah.
Brilliant. If I may answer, Tracy, it's you don't have to ask questions. Let me answer it this way: if you're in a court of law, it was dark, you're a lady, and you shot and fatally wounded a suspect that you believed had an imminent threat to your life. The chances are pretty good that there will be enough evidence for you to be very much free and not be charged of anything ridiculous, or rather prosecuted for anything ridiculous. So, but yeah, we can discuss that. Maybe it's a chat that we can have someday. You know, when can you shoot? And we get a few guys around the table and do a discussion like this to explain to people the different scenarios and when you can or can't pull the trigger.
I would love to. I actually was thinking of having a panel night, like Tuesday. I have panel night, so I have more than one guest from 8 p.m. And I wanted to invite you and Gideon. And then I was thinking maybe one other gun person, just trying to find out who. But even if it's just you two and we talk about gun stuff, such as this, I think it would be a lot of fun. So yeah, awesome. Let's set it up and we'll make it happen. All right, Ian, thank you so much. You can take your leave, and I'll chat to you soon, buddy. Thanks so much for coming onto the show and giving an hour of your time.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you to everyone that joined us.
Cool. Cheers, Ian. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Ian Cameron from Action Society, South Africa. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a like, please share this, and also leave a comment. What did you think of the conversation? I will be uploading this interview on its own, the full hour on its own. So subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want to watch it. If you want to share it, please, it's greatly appreciated. Clay, what the hell, man? Worldwide Freedom March on the 19th of March, Foreshore, Cape Town. I don't like this because you're wait, 19th of March. Okay, never mind. It's cool. I almost made a mistake there. 19th of March. Okay, when is that? I'm not going to be available for that. Just letting you know, I got plans already. Yeah. Just in case anybody's wondering when the next Worldwide Freedom March is, it's on the 19th of March. I won't be able to be there. Sorry, I've already got plans. You guys, if you want to, you can go support. Apparently, it's at Foreshore, Cape Town. All right, yes, problem whole mission. Yeah. Go, Tracy, go contact Ian. He's going to help you out with that. I'm sure he will. What you smoking? Your time is perfect. Nothing. I'm sober as a judge. Anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for tonight's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in once again. Thank you guys for the engagement. Thank you so much for the questions. No, thank you, Acid Zill, for asking the question. I knew Ian was going to say that, but I just thought I'd ask him anyway. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, of course, now everyone's going to start posting the marches. Cape Independence Freedom March on the 27th of April, 27th of April, Freedom Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I did have an interview with Phil Craig from Cape Independence Advocacy Group. Please go check it out. All the details are there with when this march is happening, how you sign up if you want to. You don't necessarily have to sign up, but it's good if you do. And I'll be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to document it. So will Pet Zoo Film Crew. And so will Ian. So if you want to come say hi to us, please come join. And let me tell you, man, the Cape Independence March, it's something to behold. Clay, you got to go there, man. You just got to go there to see how a march is done. No offense to anyone who makes protests and all that stuff, organized protests. I know they're hard work. I know they take time. Trust me, I know. But I'm just saying, the way they do it, you can learn a few things, and it's good to see it. So come be a part of that. You're going to stream it live? No, I'm not going to stream it live. I'll take video. What if you end an intruder's life with a lightsaber? Did you even see the lightsaber, dude? I was showing it off earlier. The guy no, they must go they must go and watch the stream from the beginning. It's like 30 minutes in, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Now my lightsaber. She's sleeping now. Yes, it's a she. All right, I gotta go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and Ian. Tomorrow, I'll be back with a panel night. We're gonna be discussing is hate speech real? On my panel is gonna be Dumo Denga. We're gonna have Dodgy Idealist and Kenton Pillay, ladies and gentlemen. Is also gonna be on the show. So that's tomorrow evening's panel night. You don't want to miss that. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, be kind to one another, and I'll see you at the next one. Cheers.